So welcome to the 2020-2021 MSA Scholarship Information Session. I did want to start out by sharing a little bit about our funder. So our funder, and they've actually funded us for the last 3 years, is the California Community Foundation. And they're a foundation that's focused on helping California citizens, Californians, I should say, just improve their lives in a number of different ways. And so one of the initiatives that they have is they have what they call their LACIF initiative. And LACIF stands for, as you can see on the screen, Los Angeles Scholars Investment Fund. And the goal of that initiative is to help students of color. So that's why this is being funded, particularly under the LACIF initiative, to particularly help men of color in our case. And they have a couple different objectives. There are actually 4 different objectives. The main goal is to increase bachelor degree attainment. So they just want more students and more Californians to have bachelor's degrees. We know that if you have a bachelor's degree, that over the course of your lifetime, you're going to make $1 million more than someone who doesn't have a college degree. And so we know it just really is. And we also know that an education is a proven driver and a consistent driver of social mobility, meaning that you can go from low income to middle income, from middle income to, an upper income family, just by virtue of having a degree. So that's always great. And specifically, this scholarship, I should say, is trying to help underrepresented students, i.e. low income first generation students. Objective number 2, or goal number 2, is that this is the scholarship is part of as they call it, a comprehensive college counseling and social engagement system. And all that means is that they didn't want to give the scholarships by themselves in isolation, that they wanted to be attached to a support system like MSA, where we focus on both college support, staff support, as well as student support. And so you're part of a bigger system. They just didn't want to throw money at the problem, but they really want to be part of the solution in terms of helping people to ultimately graduate, which leads us to number 3, that the goal for the scholarships is that the recipients of the scholarship will have higher retention and graduation rates than students who aren't part of a support system like MSA. And that dovetails nicely into our MSA mission, which is not to just focus on college access, but college success. And then the last thing is here, the last goal or objective is to really help mitigate, as they say, financial barriers. In short, we're just trying to make sure that you're not in debt. And I think you've already made, and I want to congratulate you on making a wise decision to choose a CSU, because we know that you're going to get more bang for your buck. We know that there are a lot of colleges out there that are, quite frankly, overpriced, and that by going to a CSU, and particularly in Cal State Dominguez Hills, that you're really making a very economically wise decision. You're not saddling yourself with debt before you even get started. So I think that's really, really important, really, really wise of you all. And this scholarship is even going to help you with the little bit of cost that you're incurring at Cal State Dominguez Hills. Let's talk about what the scholarship specifically, let's talk about some numbers. So we were given $30,000 in scholarship funds for this academic year. And so we'll be giving out 20 $1,500 scholarships. Because we got the monies this semester, typically we would get them in the summer and we would do a fall disbursement and a spring disbursement. But since we got them during the fall semester, we'll be doing 2 spring disbursements of $750 each. And I will say this, I'll say it now, but I'll also say it again, that this is money that is earned, not given. And what I mean by that is that there'll be expectations that come along with those who are awarded the scholarship and who are scholarship recipients. And so let's first talk about eligibility. Who's eligible? Number 1, because it is from the California Community Foundation, the funds are from there, they really want to help support students who graduated from a California high school. Number 2, very important that you submit your FAFSA or DREAM Act application, whichever applies to you. So very, very important that you do that. We need you to be a full-time CSU-DH undergraduate student. You need to have a minimum 2.8 CSU-DH cumulative GPA. So if you're I'll mention that in a second. We also want to prioritize students who were involved in their school community or the at-large community. So as long as you're involved in some way, that might be in the form of work, that might be in the form of community service or what have you. And demonstrated financial need. You all have demonstrated financial need because, of course, it costs to go to college, but those who will be prioritized are those who have the most financial need. And so that'll be determined by our financial aid office and by all the documents that you submit to them. And then the last piece there is that the last requirement here is, and a very important requirement, is that you have to be an active MSA college chapter member. And so if you're, in short, what that means, if you're a returning member, you've been inducted in past years, you need to be active. So being active 2 years ago doesn't qualify you necessarily to receive the scholarship this year. And then for those who are brand new to Cal State Dominguez Hills, incoming freshman, incoming transfer, then what that means is that you're active, basically this semester. And once you get inducted, you become an official college chapter member. But once again, I will stress the active part, and we'll talk about that next. The next slide really covers that. So number one, mandatory attendance. So we'll be requiring scholarship recipients to show up to our general body meetings, show up to our success seminars, and show up to our rites of passages. So we're going to say one excused absence per semester. Just let us know ahead of time. If you can't make something, you're good to go there. Number two, check-ins. We do ask that all of our MSA members do a check-in with myself or Gerardo, one of the coordinators, once a semester. So Gerardo meets with the freshmen and sophomores. I meet with the upperclassmen, the juniors and seniors. And so if you haven't had a chance to check in yet, then I definitely encourage you to set up a time, I would say even this week or definitely for next week, so that you can check that off and you can be, once again, that can help with your active membership. We do have an upcoming general body meeting next week. So I would also, just put that on your radar. Thursday, November 12th. Any scholarship meetings that we would have, and then our spring summit and culmination ceremony. Those are events that we do every year. The spring summit is a student success conference where we support middle school and high school students in our local community, and then culmination ceremony is the MSA graduation ceremony for our middle school, high school partner schools, partnership students, as well as our MSA college chapter members. So it's a great time with family and friends. Those will be held this upcoming year. They will be virtual. And then ambassador hours is the last piece here. So for those of you who don't know, some of you are familiar with this because you're going through the membership process right now. But every month MSA does an information session. And so we ask that we typically have 1, 2, or 3 students, typically 2 to 3 students share their MSA experience with students who are interested in learning more about MSA. So we do an orientation session, to make a long story short, for students who are interested in MSA once a month. And we do ask current members to share their MSA experience. And so we'd love for you to be a part of that to help us with recruiting incoming new students. We have partner events. So that could be, let's say, student affairs. If student affairs needs some MSA members to represent at something, or I don't know, career center or something, we could offer ambassador point hours. And I should define ambassador hours. Ambassador hours, it just means that you represent MSA or you represent Cal State Dominguez Hills. So these are various events that you can represent MSA or the school at large or a different department within Cal State Dominguez Hills. And then I just put miscellaneous MSA activities. Those are just, I didn't have an opportunity to list all the things that we do, but once again, we do ask for support and for representation at various events. And so we would ask for 4 to 5 hours of what we call per semester of ambassador hours. And then lastly, we have you sign a contract to that effect.